This is the Aoyue or Aoyue hot air rework station delivered from Amazon. I'm going to unbox this as best as I can with one hand. I apologize. Got some other goodies as well. This is for an upcoming project. Okay, so box within a box. Of course, they did their typical thing and kind of shoved the packing material around this empty cavity and left the side of the box up against this other box. So it's not really padded any better, but I guess it is better protected. Looks like genuine Aoyue or Aoyue packaging. Let's try and take this out. Let's set this down for a second. Okay, here's the box. Got the Soldering Expert Professional Repairing System. Straight out of China. And this is the 968A Plus for 110 volts, if you can read that. Supposedly ESD safe. This is harder than it looks. Right? Oh, that's nice. So they put the instruction manual on top. We don't need that. I'm kind of kidding. It says SRA soldering products will handle the warranty claims from 31 days out to 1 year, and Amazon basically handles it within 30 days. The aid crate to protect the unit itself. We've got what I assume are the accessories in this box. Set this off to the side. This looks like the soldering stand. Apologize for that not being in focus. And then we have the unit itself, with apparently the wand and everything attached to it, or the heat gun, I believe. So we'll set this box off to the side. Boxes everywhere. Okay. I don't know if I can do this one-handed or not. I'm gonna set this down. Okay. I'm assuming I'm not the first person in here, given the SRA soldering sticker that's been applied to the top. And there are marks here and here that looks like it's been touched in the past. Hopefully that's not really a sign of like any problems to come. This top of the case, as you can see, I'm holding it right now. It's kind of coming up, so it's a little bit weak. Let's see if it's like that normally or not. Yeah, it just kind of bent like that. That's okay. For the price, I don't exactly expect perfection here. I'm gonna tilt this up. There's the front of the unit. Everything looks promising so far. We've got the vacuum input here, which is also for the like the suction tool to remove SMD chips, and also to trying to think, I think it does. Oh, it's the intake for the heat gun. It's the vacuum for the fumes, and it's also to lift chips off. And this is of course for the soldering gun itself, which I probably won't be using too much. I plan on buying a better unit for that, but maybe this one will surprise me and we won't need that. Right here, I need to bump the ISO up for you so you can see this. It's on the side. I don't have lighting here. This red sticker is covering a screw that needs to be removed prior to using the unit. We can see the quality control in this unit passed. on the 24th of March 2017, so it's pretty new. This iron feels pretty decent, but the other thing I noticed immediately is it almost feels like it was pulled out of a dirty warehouse. Over to some of this other stuff. Let's see what we have. There's a bracket of some sort. There's this thing, which I have no idea what it does. And if I can ever get this plastic off. Oh, I know what this is. This is a solder spool holder, I believe, because that doesn't fit in there. So this is for the soldering iron itself. We'll go over to our accessories pack. Oh, look at this. They gave us a spare hot air gun heating element for 110 volts. At least I assume it's a spare. So that's nice. This is a heating element for the soldering iron. Here's all the tips. They look nice. All stamped Aoyue. Solder cleaner or tip cleaner. That's nice. With the brass and not the sponge type. There's the sponge if you want to use that instead. This thing I think is used to lift chips off, but I'm not really sure. This is a bag full of tips for the heat gun. This is the bracket to actually hold the heat gun, and it looks like that attaches, I believe, to the side of the unit somewhere. I'm not actually sure how that works, so I should probably read up on that. This is the vacuum hose, and this is the iron itself. This is just the power cord. One thing that isn't immediately obvious is that my eyes are burning right now, and I don't really notice a strong chemical smell, but you can smell it. But it is affecting my eyes. I bought another product earlier today, and actually I've got it down here. This soldering mat, it's hard to describe the smell that came off of it. It was off-gassing. It was way worse, and there's also the possibility I'm still being affected by that, and maybe it's not the iron or the station. I'm gonna shut this camera down and try and get everything rigged up, and we can try it out. I've turned the unit on its side, and this isn't immediately obvious how this goes together, but there are two screws right here and this bracket that holds the heat gun. The bracket needs to be screwed to the side of the unit just like this. And now we've got a holder for our heat gun. The best part is the manual I was kind of joking about getting rid of really wasn't very helpful with this. So as we go through the manual, we've got assembly and preparations. Main power, soldering iron stand, where it tells you how to assemble the spool to the stand and the sponge tray and everything. It kind of verbally mentions the smoke absorber, and then all it says is for the hot air gun, E, it says place the hot air gun in the stand to prepare for usage, but it never actually tells you anything about having to screw the stand into the side of the unit. I got the unit assembled, and the first thing I had a issue with, and I didn't have the camera rolling, is that everything was on. As soon as I plugged it in, the heat gun turned on and started heating up. I didn't actually have the soldering iron plugged into the station yet, so that didn't heat up, but it all came on. Clearly, SRA unpacked this unit and did a quality test on it before shipping it out, which is awesome. because that's probably one of the bigger problems with some of these cheaper units is that you receive it and it's DOA. But this one just, it's already been verified to work for you, so that's great. So first thing we're gonna do is turn the rework on. See, it's got, I mean, it's a little bit loud. It's not really loud, to be honest. Like, you can hear it, but it's not annoying. So we've got airflow control here. It's got the little bubble there. So you can see how you can control it. And when it's all the way up, it does have a little bit of a rattle. I heard about that online, it's not too bad. You can see our heater is set to 120 degrees, well, 90 degrees Celsius. It overshot, so it's coming down in temperature right now. After some research, I found out that solder melts typically between 183 and 188 degrees Celsius. I cranked the station up to 300 degrees Celsius. So what we're gonna do is attempt to remove that chip right there. So I've got it on 300. The board hasn't really been preheated except for where I was doing some work on this guy right there. And we're just going to circle around. And I have no idea what I'm doing, so. Boom, just like that. That's simple. We're going to test the soldering iron out next. We're going to turn off the hot air rework gun. And check this out, and turn it off. It automatically full flows the air and will cool itself down to, I guess, make it easier to change the tips out and to preserve the heating element. We're gonna turn the iron on. And it's just in the holder right now. So it looks like it defaults to 477 degrees Celsius. So maybe I had the heat setting on this hot air gun set pretty low. And we've got the iron heating up right now. It's already up to 183, 200, 214. You can see that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this solder I have. It's lead-free solder. We're gonna see when it starts to melt. Let's see if you can. So there's the tip, 364. Oh, and it's already melting, so it's already basically up to temperature. This is amazing. And now that's the heat gun turning off. It's cooled down. So we're gonna see, does R840 melt? Yep, already melted. So can't complain about that. I'm really beginning to like this unit. The holder seems fairly solid. Happy with that. Oh, I just figured out what this does. This thing. So what I didn't know what this was. If you got your solder holder, you got your roll of solder, it goes through the center of the solder. Well, if you're not clumsy with one hand, it sits on the holder. And then you can just take it off like that. So far, this is a thumbs up from me. You can't beat this thing for the price, and it came in 2 days, shipped by Prime. Other things I got this mat I can try and link to preserve this desk, which isn't in the greatest of shape, but it's still a pretty nice executive desk. It's just silicone. It's got magnetized areas for screws, a little parts cubby. I also picked up these ESD safe tweezers, and they're very small for precision work, so you can use them with SMD stuff. I got solder paste, flux paste, and I've got an entire box of parts from Newark, along with 3 of these custom-made PCBs. This is the Code White CAN Badger version 0.3. This thing can essentially man-in-the-middle CAN bus. I ordered the components, so we're gonna get these assembled. And this is my motivation behind getting the Aoyue 968A Plus hot air rework station. It's actually so that I can hopefully, for these SMD components that are required, solder these to the board using hot air instead of trying to do it by hand, since I've never done SMD work before, so I have no idea what I'm doing. So we're gonna try that out and see how it goes. Stay tuned on my sister channel, Chesapeake Motorworks, for the assembly of this project and some more car hacking projects.